Hello and welcome, my friends and viewers, to this week's episode of Legendlore, where I draw and talk about monsters, characters, gods, and other things from a variety of tabletop roleplay games, all while giving a small but quickly digestible history about them. Together we go over the history within the game, how they utilize the modern edition, and how you guys can utilize them in your games. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, taking a departure from the traditional D&D material and taking a look at the dark fantasy heavy metal RPG known as Mörk, specifically one of the optional classes that the players can choose from, known as the Fanged Deserter, a monstrous martial warrior whose focus is on killing things really well, be it with swords, slings, angry dogs, or fucking horseshoe boomerangs. Getting right into it, the Fanged Deserter can be found on page 46 of the Mörk game manual. And Fanged Deserters begin play with an amount of silver equal to 2d6 times 10 and 1d2 omens, which are special abilities that allow you to influence the outcome of certain situations, such as beating out combat or overcoming obstacles. Think of them like inspiration, but they have more actual specific effects. All omens can be found on page 38 of the Redbubble book. Starting hit points for Fanged Deserters is 1d10 plus your toughness, and you get access to the following special abilities and items. First, Built Like a Bull. When Fanged Deserters are rolling to decide their strength score, they roll 3d6 plus 2 instead of the normal 3d6. Not a Bright Spark means that when rolling to decide your agility or presence scores, the Fanged Deserter rolls a 3d6 minus 1. You also get the namesake Bite Attack, which hits with a roll of 10 when attacking and deals 1d6 damage. In order to do this, you must be close to your target, and upon rolling a 1 or 2 on your d6, the enemy gets a free attack against you. This isn't meant to be your main weapon, but it does help should you be disarmed or get your arms eaten or chopped off or something. Beyond that, an important thing to note in Mörk, most if not all d20 tests that are rolled for most characters when attempting to do something must usually be a difficulty rating of 12 or higher, meaning that you have to roll a 12 or higher on the dice when you roll and add your bonuses. For Fanged Deserters, however, normal agility tests are a DR 14, meaning you must roll a 14 or higher when attempting agility tests. The only thing that this excludes is defense, which is treated as having a normal DR 12. In addition to that, Fanged Deserters are illiterate, which means that they are incapable of understanding or using scrolls. This means that any scrolls that you find, be they good or bad, you cannot use over the course of your game. In fact, if you get a scroll as a part of your rolled starting equipment, you are required to re-roll and then eat it or use it as toilet paper. Depending on your group, you can just ignore that detail and subtly hand it off to someone who can use it, or you can watch as your friend roleplays going out a tangent as you wipe your ass in the woods with a bit of divine scripture. And lastly, Fanged Deserters begin play with one of the following items, chosen at character creation or randomly given by rolling a d6. One gives you the Crumpled Monster Mask, which strikes a primitive fear into lesser creatures like goblins, gnomes, or little children. While you're wearing this mask in their presence, they must check morale every single round, meaning that each round they have a chance to flee or surrender out of fear of the mask. The mask could thematically be anything, from a mask being made from the face of a goblin, a helmet made of skulls, or a hood formed from strung bat carcasses. You can get really creative with this one, and it'll make for a cutting silhouette for your character. Number 2 gives you the Brown Scimitar of Glackenbeck, which is literally a stinking curved sword that you pulled out of a shit ditch, or some other generally gross place that's laden with bacteria and rot. It deals 1d6 damage on a successful hit, and the difficulty rating for attack and defense tests you made while wielding it are 10 instead of 12. You may also roll a d6 upon dealing damage with this weapon, a 1 resulting in a wounded enemy being struck with sepsis and dying 10 minutes later. I don't think I need to extol the virtues of this thing mechanically, but thematically, it's kinda gross. Number 3 gives you Wizard Teeth, which is a set of 4 weird teeth that rattle around in a black pouch. Right before any combat occurs, roll a d6 for each tooth, and for every 6 you get, you may choose one of your attacks made over the course of that combat to deal maximum damage. This is really useful if you have the Zweihander, which deals 1d10 damage, or some other high damage die weapon. And it doesn't explicitly say whether or not the teeth are consumed upon use, so be sure to figure that out with your game master. Number 4 gives you Old Sigurd's Sling, woven from the long gray hair of a mean bastard that you killed named Sigurd. This sling deals 2d4 damage on a successful hit and requires fist-sized rocks to serve as ammo, which shouldn't exactly be that difficult to find considering most of the game is about dungeon delving. It doesn't list the range of how far the sling could go, so you can have fun with it within reason, or be sure to lock that down with your game master. 5 gives you the Ancient Gorehound, which is my personal favorite. This is an asthmatic, deluded, but smart dog with a superb sense of smell that can sniff up treasure in even the worst places. In combat, it gets its own turn and attacks with a DR 10 bite and deals 1d6 damage, while it defends with a DR 12 and has about 10 hit points. It also apparently becomes frenzied around goblins or berserkers, the interpretation of which mechanically depends on your game master. I would suggest that maybe you lower the DR for attacks made against these types of monsters, but again, it's completely up to you. If a goblin fails a morale check, your goblin can absolutely just leave the room and go hunt after it and never be seen again. Additionally, its ability to sniff out treasure can provide maybe some kind of bonus to the party's rolls to find treasure in dungeons. And lastly, number 6 gives the Shoe of Death's Horse, which is a literal cursed horseshoe that you believe came from the horse of death himself. And I literally mean the horseman. Attacks with it are made at a DR 10, deal 1d4 damage, and every time you hit you must roll a d6. On a 1, the shoe smashes into the creature's skull, instantly killing small to medium-sized creatures, and the shoe also returns to your hand like a boomerang. I really don't have any further explanation for this item. It sounds hilarious and is really cool, but can get a little cartoony at times if you don't reel that in. But with that covers everything about Mörk Borg's Fanged Deserter class, everyone. I want to thank all you guys for watching, and if you guys enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and let me know if you guys would like to see more Mörk Borg videos. And also comment down below on the short lives of your Fanged Deserters or any other Mörk Borg characters. I've recently just been really getting into the game, so I really wanted to start doing something a little bit new with this. And also, let me know what you guys like to see in upcoming videos. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.